Hello and namaste. Welcome to this video where we're going to talk about level 6. I believe you must have already watched the first 5 levels videos and have understood what each level consists of as chapters and as outcomes for your child. So, in this level 6, we're going to learn another 7 chapters. And what are those 7 chapters we are going to talk about? The first one is family fixed expenses. Yes, the child in the last level has understood about the monthly budget of family. Now is going to talk about the fixed expenses and the variable expenses in the house. Do you know about it? Are you aware about your fixed expenses and the variable expenses? And it's going to compare the budget versus expenses as well. So that's something interesting which the child now at level 6 is able to do with money. In chapter number 2, we are going to discuss about rules, fines, and penalties. Remember, you had created the code of conduct for your family. Now it's the child's time to understand the need, the benefit, and the drawbacks of creating rules and following them. Yes, from driving rules to rules in the family is something which the discuss and debate would now happen. Chapter number 3 is about rent as an income or as an expense. Well, it's time now that the child learns about investment, and if the rent comes as an income from the property which you have created, then what it is. And if you're living in a house which is not your own and you're paying rent, then what it is. And this is something which the child is going to understand the difference between renting and owning, and when certain things should be rented and when certain things should be owned is what the child is going to learn in this chapter number 3. Chapter number 4 is about buying things. So here is going to talk about taking an invoice. So when you're buying certain things, you have to be aware of that how you take an invoice and what the invoice is useful for. What if you get a fake invoice? What are the drawbacks of it? And all those wisdom things about buying is what the child is going to discuss in chapter number 4. Chapter number 5 is based on entrepreneurship again. Which business should one start? What are the reasons of starting a business in a certain area and why certain business shouldn't be started in a certain area? Yes, right, the supply and the demand matrix. And that's basic fundamental is what the child is going to learn in the chapter number 5. Chapter number 6 is about digital payments. Yes, the child has now graduated from banking instruments to checks to demand drafts to paying online to now paying through credit cards and wallets and doing bank transfers. Of course, he would need your help there to do these activities. And finally, the last chapter is about planning money for future needs. And this is something very interesting. The child is now on the verge of getting into a career decision, and he needs to now start thinking and discussing with parents, is they have they planned enough and saved enough for the child's further education. And that's what the child is going to discuss with you in the chapter number 7. These are what the chapters and what the child is going to learn there and discuss there. Let's talk about the 5 outcomes or the 5 activities the child will do with you. First and foremost is the child would make and follow rules of self-discipline and about healthy choices. You want that your child to do, right? So that's a small activity which you get children do, because now is the time when they have to demonstrate self-restraint and follow self-discipline, because that's something which nobody can control over them. Activity number 2 is about analyzing the family expenses. Yes, month on month basis and taking corrective actions as well. So they would be shoulder to shoulder discussing with you about the finances in the family. Activity number 3, You doing digital payments, yes, they would need you to use your payment wallets to do safe and secure transaction under your guidance, and discuss how and what not to do so as to be safe and secure. Activity number 4 is to do a survey and to prepare a report of what of various businesses around you. Why that is important? Because that would help them realize about various entrepreneurial things which they have to do. Activity number 5. This is about discussing with you and preparing their own future plan based on their aspirations, their dreams, and whatever they want to begin. So, with this 5 activities and 7 chapters, we come to the end of level 6. And your child would have completed from level 1 to level 6 and have created the foundation for wealthy money habits and healthy relationships with money. So, till you take the decision of enrolling your child in this level, I take your leave. Thank you and Dhanyavad.